Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. This is the first town hall meeting of 2026. We have a couple of team members who are going to provide updates today, and then we will open things up for questions. As always, we don't have to wait for questions until we are finished, but we'll try to structure it that way. If you have something that can't wait or that you fear you may forget, just raise your hand, and we'll go that way. So the folks today sharing some information will be Christina from Dining, Emily from Resident Life. It was going to be Lou from a campus operations perspective, but he is out helping the team remove some snow at the moment, so he won't be able to join us. So I will do my best to fill in for him. So I'm going to start and offer a few updates, and then we will take things from there. Sound good? Yep. Okay. So, in no particular order of importance, we will have a new physician on campus starting Friday, January 16th, 2 weeks from today. So we employ a practice, Suburban Geriatrics, and the physician and nurse practitioner that are consistently on campus are from that practice. The physician from that practice serves as the medical director, and we have a physician on site once a week and a nurse practitioner on site twice a week from Suburban. There are some internal moves within that practice that will have our current physician, Dr. Samuels. He will have to go to other communities and not ours, and one of their physicians from their practice will come here. So that will happen 2 weeks from today. There will be no discontinuation of service. We will continue to have the same structure. It's just that the person, that one physician that is providing care, will change. So if you work with Dr. Samuels, or if you know someone that works with Dr. Samuels, he will be headed out, and we'll have a new physician coming in 2 weeks. So that information is being shared. It should be in your mailboxes sooner or later. We're sharing it with all residents on campus in a memo format so that you have that available. Magnolia House East first floor space. So as you can recall, the first floor Magnolia House East was a space where the trains were located. Those were moved. Those pieces were moved down to Oak Tree basement, and that space there was not yet in a renovated way. But we are working at the moment to redesign the look and feel of that space. New paint, new electric, new furniture, new televisions, and that should be up and running and completed by the end of this month. So if you're curious, or if you walk by and you say, hey, what's going on here, that is the idea for that space. Going to some of the updates that Al was going to provide, but I'll do in his place. Oak Tree Plumbing. As you recall, we have gone through some challenges related to some plumbing issues in Oak Tree, and we had our plumber come out, take a look, scope all of the main lines through that building. What they are providing us and what we will work on next are whatever their recommendation will be. It is one of three things. We will jet all of the lines, run water through them to unclog any clogged areas, or we will line some of the pipes if that is what is required, or we will replace pipes. So whatever the recommendation is, we will follow through on, and we believe that that will resolve the issues related to plumbing in Oak Tree. As soon as I have more information on that, I will share that information.
That's all cast iron, isn't it?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, it is, that's what I was told. That's why they would either line it or replace it, and your drops should be okay.
Yeah, that was related to the type of pipes that are there. So if the word on the street is that they're cast iron, then that's most likely what they are. I do know that we do have cast iron at some other points on campus, so that might make some sense. Tree trimming. Again, if you recall, in the fall, we removed and trimmed a significant amount of trees on campus. We removed a lot of dead trees, a lot of dead limbs, and we cut back a lot of trees that needed it. We did not get everything. We couldn't get everything in the time span that we had. We do have plans in the spring to bring that team back on campus to continue that work. If there are any specifics that you say, hey, don't forget this tree, don't forget that tree, let us know. We will add it to the list, and we will do our best to get it in the spring time frame when that work goes on. Sound good?
Who should we notify?
Who should we notify? That goes through maintenance. So that would go to Al, and he would be able to put that on the list for the group that works through our tree trimming. Lastly, snow removal. So there's about 3/4 of the residents that are typically here are here today, and I would imagine due to the weather conditions, whatever it may be, that's why we're a little bit thinner. So what do we do as a community to remove snow and ice on campus? What does it cost, and what is our decision-making framework? We have one grounds person on campus, on our team, Ryan, you all know him. We have a 70-acre campus that exists. So on a typical basis, it is a challenge for Ryan to remove snow all on his own. We do have other maintenance team members, right? We have a whole maintenance team. But our standard practice is to do our best to have the maintenance team continue to work as maintenance team members and not work as grounds team members who remove snow, etc. That is our framework. So when we have instances where we have snow that's a little bit more than Ryan, or even Ryan and a few other individuals can handle, we call in our snow removal partner, Bates Landscaping. Sometimes they do a perfect job, sometimes they do too perfect a job with too much salt. Sometimes they're not quick enough, but that is our process. Bates Landscaping and all snow removal contractors that we reviewed are significantly expensive. So what we do every time that there is a snowstorm, every time there is snow forecast, every time the word is uttered, we review as a team what we have available to us, what we expect is going to happen, and we make a judgment on whether or not it's worthwhile to spend the money to bring Bates in. We have in the past looking back historically, perhaps been a little too liberal in calling them out and not being able to handle some things on our own. Sometimes we make the right call. Sometimes we look back and say, ooh, I wish I would have called him in, or I wish I would have called him off. And that is the general scope of what we do and why we do it. What I saw this morning was a little bit of extra work needed by our team. So the individuals that are here now, including Al, are out there de-icing, salting, and removing snow as is. The storms themselves, the dustings themselves caught us off guard a little bit, and we made decisions in both instances to call off Bates. So if there are any questions related to that or frustrations related to that, I completely understand. But before we delved into anything more, I wanted to give you all a full explanation of what we do and why we do it. Okay? So there are 2 other individuals that are here to share, speak, etc. But if there are any immediate questions related to snow removal, I'm happy to do my best to answer them as thoroughly as I can.
Yesterday, our whole front porch was a sheet of ice. I called the front desk, and it took them till about 11:15 to come out and even begin to salt or clear our sidewalks. I was very frustrated, and I was afraid to even leave the house.
Understood. I don't have more of an answer than I can give, than I just gave.
I didn't know
But
what to do other than call the front desk.
calling the front desk is a reasonable thing to do in
And
that
the guy came
scenario.
out and did a nice job when he was there.
Mhm.
I realized then there were only like 2 or 3 people.
Given the holiday, there were only 2 people that were in yesterday, so yes. We have all, morning for this, so that's fine. So if there are no other immediate questions, I'm going to pass things off to Emily.
Good morning, everyone. All right, so the initial reports are in from the New Year's party, and it sounds like it was a pretty fun party and some good food. So I hope you enjoyed it if you did come out for that, and Happy New Year. So looking forward to 2026. Just a couple things. So first off, we said farewell last week to Kathy Kuhar, our life enrichment manager. And in exciting news, we have hired a new life enrichment manager. His name is Daniel App. He comes as an experienced life enrichment manager, has served as a director at communities, has also been in leadership responsibilities of managing teams. He is certified by the National Activities Director Council with a specialization in dementia, and just really has a passion. When the team interviewed him, has a passion for life enrichment at all levels of living. So we're really excited to welcome him on board, and he will actually begin orienting this Monday, January 5th. So looking for a smooth transition in that role, and I look forward to introducing him to you. Secondly, we have a fun photo exhibit coming to Frederick Living. I'm not sure it's exactly fun, but it should certainly be interesting. It comes from the photos of Art Petrosamola, and a little bit about Art. Art is a 9-year resident of Garden Spot Village, and he and his wife of 55 years, Tina, were the first residents at Garden Spot's freestanding homes in Sycamore Springs in January 2017. Art is 82 years old and continues to work as a writer and a photographer for the Lancaster Sunday newspaper, as well as Lancaster Farming and Mid-Atlantic Horse. And he spends his weekends and summers photographing One Design sailing events up and down the East Coast. He will be doing a presentation on Monday, January 12th here at 1:30 p.m. in the auditorium. So I encourage you to come out to see Art's photos. We'll have them on display here. But then they will be on display with little stories about each photograph. And it's a wide range. It's from Lancaster County to all the way all around the world to Afghanistan, some of the photos. And each one will have a story. That will be up from January 12th to January 29th. So I encourage you to check out those photos and come out to the presentation if you're able to. We also have another opportunity in January. This was a resident idea about having some small story sharing groups of people having an opportunity to share why they came to Frederick Living. Did they have a connection to the community over the years? Were there other reasons that they decided to move here? It's an opportunity to share with one another in an informal setting. It will take place, these are resident facilitated, so we have 2 facilitators for each. So Jean Ann Ferry and Gretchen Rogers will host the first one January 19th at 1:30 p.m. in Fireside, and the second one will be facilitated by Ruth Ann and Larry Clemens. So please sign up if you're interested. It's nice to just hang out, share some stories together. There is a sign-up sheet for both these. You just want to make sure you get the right date and which group you want on those sign-up sheets by the bulletin board. And lastly, keep your eyes peeled. Looks like the Winter Olympics are going to start soon, and potentially the Winter Olympics here at Frederick Living. So we know that they are coming. Look up for sign-up sheets. If you're interested in participating, we're going to have a fun winter together. I hope you will. So keep your eyes out for that. Are you going for the gold, Dave?
Huh?
You going for gold?
No, Denny is.
Oh, Denny. Denny has already, you've won multiple golds. He's ready to take the stand again. So I am personally hoping to win cornhole again and get my second gold, but I know the competition is fierce, so I'm preparing, and so is my partner. All right, that's it for me for right now, so I'm going to pass it over to Christina. Wait, we got a question, yes.
No, I just want to thank you for the nativity sets. I thought that was really an interesting. Great idea.
So yes, that actually came, I want to give some credit to June Herb over here. That idea came from a resident, so if you have ideas, please share them with us. We were able to run with that, and those nativity scenes are amazing, of how many people have traveled so many places, or the stories behind them just in general. Yes, and that was really on the fly, so if you have other cool ideas like that, please share them. We'd love to try to implement things like that.
All right. Good morning. All right, so I think I have big news because we're changing our menus. And yeah, that's what I thought I was going to hear. So, that was the first thing I heard when I came here day one was, are you going to change the menus? And I can't take any credit.
Before you begin, would you introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. See, I don't feel new anymore, so I forgot I should do that. Okay, so my name's Christina. I'm the new general manager for dining. This is the end of my 3rd week. So I told myself I can't say new anymore starting on Monday. So yes, so menu changes. So we're working on that. We have someone in the kitchen. Her name's Liesel, and she's working on putting all the menu changes in all of our systems so that we can get that rolled out to you. So over the next 4 weeks, we're going to put all that together, and then you'll see some new menu items on the bistro menu. So that's really exciting. I think something that's super important and a favor I'm going to ask is really, really use those happy or nots and give us that feedback. Because if we're putting things on the menu that you don't like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So please use them. They come out at like 1 in the morning every morning, and I read them first thing when I wake up. So let me know what's going on, and then we can kind of, it's phase 1 of a big project, but you'll see some new stuff coming. And then we also, for our catering for the department, so people that, small things like fruit trays and cheese trays, and then larger family dinners and parties, we created a catering email. So I'm going to put some information, I'll get some information out on the screens so that there'll be an email you can send an email to and set everything up that way. Right now it's a little haphazard, and we just got to kind of organize that. So you'll see that as well. If you have questions, you can always stop in and ask about that as well. And I think Lou told me to say this to you before I was up in front of everyone, but I'm new, so I'm going to just say we're going to do a Valentine's menu in the fireside dining the day before Valentine's Day. So that'll be reservation only, like fireside is all the time, but we're going to make it a little bit of a Valentine's kind of special menu. So you'll also see some information come out about that. And I think that's all I have right now. Yes?
It's probably a silly question, but when you assign... Did you want that? Okay, I was just wondering how you decide who back there, which chef does... I tell other people about this all the time. Which chef is going to do which dish? Do you assign that, or do they say, hey, let me do the green beans? How does that work? Because...
Green beans is all I hear is green beans, but that's not just here. No. My last job, green beans, was just like a huge joke. So we have generally the same people make the same dishes. We have a morning cook and a night cook and a prep cook. So just how their job is kind of organized, it's typically the same people. So, and we have recipes. So in theory, it shouldn't matter who's making it because they follow the recipe. If you do notice a difference in something, that's when you let us know via the happy or nots. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. I have another
I forget her name, but she's one of the people usually upstairs. She comes down, she's on the cash register and everything. But the green beans we had the other day with the bacon were not cooked. Well, for me, they weren't cooked. Okay. And actually, she brought the guy in that made the beans. and also the chicken pot pie, okay? It's getting thicker and thicker, okay, almost like paste. And she talked about it needs to be, we need to make sure we're using the little kiosks to let people know what they are, okay? And I'm not afraid to do that, so I do it anyway. But I'll put a plug in for the dining. I've worked hard working with people to try to get everything right there with the dining on Friday night. The rolls are now warm, okay? The meals are getting better, okay? So I recommend, because if I go to Texas Roadhouse, it costs me $8 more for the same thing I'm getting here, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, again, green beans. And I did hear about that. Luke, I believe, was the one that came out, the real tall gentleman. He came to me and said, what do I do about these green beans? And I was like, oh, not the green beans again. Some people like them crunchy, some people like them very soft. And then a lot of people are like, the green beans had no flavor. And I'm like, well, if it's a steamed green bean, there's only so much we can do.
They seem to be giving me more on my plate, so they must want to get rid of them.
We just have cases back there. We're just begging people to eat them.
I was eating with someone on Sunday, and the beef was so tough. Thin, sliced thin, it was like shoe leather. It would have been really good for, anyway, so the lady next to me, I didn't order because it looked dry.
Okay.
But the gal next to me just couldn't eat it. And I said, well, then go get some fish. She said, oh, I don't want to do that. But I did. I went over and said, my friend can't eat the beef. May I have fish?
Okay.
And he gave me some and said, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So that was, it's nice to know that you can do that. You can go back and say, this isn't working for me. Let me have something different.
So I held the microphone that whole time while she was talking, which was not helpful. But she said that it was the brisket on Sunday, correct?
It was.
I did hear that the brisket was a little bit tough, and I actually marked the chef today. We're going to go through the process. I just want to see kind of what they're doing with the briskets. There's some things that we can do strategically to make it better, so I want to talk to him about that. And yes, always, if you order something and it's not good, come and tell the staff, just like they did, and they'll get you something else. Absolutely, every time.
Could you just give us a quick description of, like, we have Solveig, we have Angie, we have Mark, we have Luke, we have you. I get very confused about who does what.
Understandable. Yes, so I'm the general manager, so I oversee everyone that you just said, and then all the staff. So then we have Mark, who's the executive chef, and Luke is the kitchen manager, or I think he should be called a sous chef, but he works right under Mark, so they take care of everything in the kitchen. And then we also have Lisa, who's a supervisor in the morning, and there's Randall, who works in Magnolia, who's a supervisor as well. So they take care of all things culinary. And then Angie's focus is to be over on the healthcare side with Magnolia, Aspen, and Cedarwood. And then Solveig's focus is the bistro. But then when Angie is off or Solveig's off on those days, they kind of share those responsibilities. So.
And going to the fireside for Friday, in fact, we're going with another couple. People are confused. At one point, we were supposed to call out front, and then that stopped. And now I'm calling 1272. But the irony of that is, that's Jessica's voice I'm hearing. We ought to try to change it, okay?
So for fireside, yes, you're going to call 1272. I think I should also put some information out on the screens about that. I think that would be a good one.
I think that's a change, so.
Yeah.
We'll want to just update the screens and stuff.
Absolutely. So we'll update the screens, and then we have a new, it's not a big change in the system, but we're calling to confirm reservations now as we get them. And then the manager signs off on that just to make sure if you do make a reservation, we touch base with you and we understand who's coming and what time and all that. And then also if we need to change the time or have a conversation, we can do that. But 1272 is the number, and I will fix that because I believe that's Angie's line, so it should say, you've reached Angie.
Sounds good. I mean, one of the other things we did, and that was when Debbie was here, was not have everyone come at the same time. We found,
Yes.
last time we came, there was table 6, our table 6, and table 3. We said, we'll wait for 15 or 20 minutes so that it can get picked up.
Thank you.
And that worked very well that
Okay.
day. In fact, it was kind of the second time I actually got a medium rare steak, and it came out, and actually Mark came out to check us, and everyone at the table that had it gave it a thumbs up, and he was very happy about
Right.
that. So that's got to be, you got to stagger them a little bit, because there's only one guy cooking it, I would think.
It's 1 or 2 depending on how many reservations, but you're
And that-
correct.
And that day worked very well. So
Yeah.
5 o'clock for one table, 5:15, do it that way, and that way you won't get overcrowded.
So we are staggering it as people are calling. We're kind of moving the reservations around, and that's part of that confirmation process, because everyone calls for 5:15 and 5:30, so we try to move it around a little bit. Anyone else?
I don't know if this was changed, but when I had surgery and had asked for some meals, there were some times that I didn't get them. And I talked to Emily and I said, gee, who do I call? Because you can't call the kitchen, nobody's answering. How do I get my meal? Because I was not really able to get them. Her suggestion was to call out front the switchboard. But those of us who have been here long enough knows that if switchboard doesn't always know, in fact, they'll give you a number and it doesn't work. So and it happened to my neighbor just the other day. And she wasn't sure who to call, so she just kind of hobbled around and got something for herself. I just would like to know, can we have something that if you order something, especially with wintertime coming, people might decide they're not going out or don't feel safe, who do we call? How do we let someone know we didn't get it? I mean, most of us have something extra in the house and we just throw something together, but maybe some people aren't as prepared or as able to do that. So can we have some place to call so if it doesn't come, we know what to do?
Yes. I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
so my thought would have been the front desk.
Yeah.
That would have been my thought. I'm correct in that?
They should
Front
be
desk?
able to, the front desk should be able to radio, not give you a number to call. They should radio transport and say, hey, we need you to get a meal for them because you guys are on the floor.
Right.
So I think it's just a matter of us educating, and because there are a number of receptionists that are not regular and their probably first instinct is just to give out a number. So let me talk to Megan, who oversees reception, and make sure they know, hey, if this happens, because that's the one place we're going to have somebody on picking up that phone, they should most likely radio, because transport, and if transport's not on, maintenance,
Right.
to say, hey, can you get a meal out to these guys? That would be the safest bet, I would think.
But in that scenario, you're saying you would have called and left a message for a delivery and it just didn't show up. So that's really the problem. So we need to figure that out.
Well, and it could have just been an oversight. It
Okay.
could have been that somebody didn't pick it up.
Sure.
It could have been lots of things, but there's no place really to call and say, hey, this didn't.
It didn't come.
In fact, it was very good. One the guy came and delivered a package about 20 minutes before the meal was on the end. And he said, I said, well, I'll see you in a couple of minutes because I ordered dinner. And he laughed, he said, okay. And he realized when he picked the dinners up that there was nothing for me.
Okay.
So he went back in and said, hey, I don't have anything for this lady, and I know she's expecting dinner. And they went back, and it was sitting there because it
Bless
was my
you.
order, so I knew they had it, and they brought it out, and it was great.
Okay.
But how to get that communicated, so, and I know when I talked to my neighbor, she said, I didn't do anything because I didn't know who to call, so.
Yeah, so
The front desk, then,
the front desk.
great.
Perfect. Thank you.
It would be helpful if we could have email as an alternative way to communicate with the kitchen, because that way you've got the facts, you've got it's in writing, and to get an email back saying, yes, we got it. That would be helpful.
You're saying when you place an order?
Yeah.
I completely understand. It's around the meal time, and if we're doing it right, we're not at our computers. You know what I mean? So I do understand what you're saying. Maybe some sort of a confirmation call or something to say. I need to, that's something I'll talk to Lou about.
But for the reservations for Fireside as well, that would be much easier if it were just email, and then you wouldn't have to wait for the phone line and all that kind of stuff.
The thing that I personally like about the phone line is we have you calling a number that's in like the main part of our office. So if I'm off or Angie's off or Solvay's off, anyone has access to that, so we won't miss it. Whereas like if I'm on vacation for a week and I happen to miss your email about Fireside, you know what I mean? So that's kind of why we do it that way. But I understand your point. It makes sense. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you very much. That was great. And don't forget to let us know about those menu changes.
Thank you, Christina. Okay. Christina is still here with us, so if any dining-related questions come up, by all means, let us know. And any other questions? We got time. So what's on your mind?
On the third floor, there's several people who have complained about stink bugs in their rooms, and I've had them myself. I've gotten rid of, flushed them down. But is there any way you can prevent them, or what do we do about this? Do other people have stink bugs in their rooms?
They need a different name, first off, stink bugs. We do have recurring standard, I just forgot their name. Exterminator processes throughout campus. I wasn't aware that there is a newer or perhaps higher need for anything related to stink bugs, but I'll check with Al on that question. We'll see. We'll see.
This is a question for Christina. The cookies that we ordered, were they baked in-house? I just want you to know, we ordered a platter, 3 dozen, and they were excellent. The display and the handoff was, the way they were arranged and presented was just wonderful. My grandkids loved every one of them.
That was Trish, cookie maker machine. She had a beautiful system. I'll let her know. Thank you.
I know there's not, everyone is shy here. I got some eye on a few of the folks here, yeah.
This mic has
Ah,
died,
there we go.
so I gotta go get a fresh mic.
Sorry, I was going to be quiet. Okay, when we had the sampling of all the good things and we had the party in here, 4 poinsettias disappeared. And then Ethan found them and brought them back. 4 poinsettias have just disappeared since the New Year party. We have 2. We should have 6.
I can speak to it.
And they're red, they show up. All the rest of them are white.
I'm fixing the mic, but I can speak to what happened to those.
Do you want this mic in the meantime? Emily's the thief, by the way.
There we go, guys.
She's the problem.
So it is me, and I will tell you what happened. So before town hall starts, I come in, wanted to check out. 4 of them looked very dead. They were not going to make a comeback. And they just didn't look appropriate. So it happens. We're trying to keep as many alive as we can, but they really didn't look, they didn't look well. And we could have examined them a little bit together and what their state was, but I made the call that, hey, they have moved on. So it was me. I'll try to be a little bit better, but there wasn't an actual thief.
I'm glad Emily's in residential life and not healthcare.
Is there someone who is supposed to be watering these poinsettias? Because I know people have just volunteered and water them, but is there someone who's supposed to be watching them on any of the floors, or?
We've done the best with Fran monitoring some and Dewana monitoring some. They're not here all the time. Next year, we probably need to put a little bit of a better process. So we have staff looking at it and things like that. But yes, we had some people on it. But again, their survival rate is only so long.
We have an opportunity to look at how that's structured, because right now it's a bit of a loose structure for that, so. Sarah was first, then, yeah.
With the poinsettias, why not supply a saucer or that under them right away, which can be reused again? Because they were very nice and look very pretty, but when there's no water to them and to spend the money on them is a waste.
It's fair.
And hear what she said, but I noticed that there aren't any trays. Is that what she said? No trays underneath? Yeah, because those, and you can use them over here. They're like 69 cents a piece.
It took me too long here, so I decided I would talk about something. I don't know how everybody else feels, but the trees that had the hearts and the candles on was very nice. But I personally like to have the candles that were lit outside as a remembrance. It's more visible, and that's my personal opinion.
I appreciate that. We can reassess with Betsy and with Wendy from development on what worked and what may not have worked this year with regard to the Lights of Remembrance. So that's good feedback. I'm going to give it another awkward 15 seconds of silence, and then we'll see.
They're going easy
If
on
Lou
us.
says it's over, it's over. So, all right, well, you know where we are. We'll be happy to talk to anyone individually after this. Thank you for your time, everyone, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you.